Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Today we are, well, first of all, I apologize. There's been a little bit of a hiatus, and honestly, the reason for that is I picked out all of my eyelash extensions, and I don't necessarily like the way I look without them right now. Not because I don't like my natural lashes, but because I don't really have any natural lashes left, and if I do, they are terribly damaged. So, alas, that's why there was a pause, because I needed to wait until I could get my lashes on, and I got them filled today, and feeling like a brand new gal. All right, so today's video, I was actually gonna film something completely different. I was gonna do me reacting to my first YouTube video ever, but then I was debating, do I do it like with my first like beauty video, like my first real video that I made for my channel? But then I was like, or should I react to my first video that I ever did on this channel? But the first video that I ever did on this channel is only like a minute long, and then the next video is just a vlog. But I was like, what's really gonna be entertaining about me watching myself in a vlog? So I don't know. If you guys are still paying attention to this part, let me know what you guys would want to see. Thumbs up the video, comment down below, help me out, because I genuinely overthought this so much that I was like, let me think of something else that I think could help people, and that is how I came with this. And the lighting keeps changing, so I keep having to brighten it up, so I apologize for that. All right, so for today, I decided, you know, I've been kind of going through some ups and downs when it comes to my mental health, and I kind of am over having the videos where I just kind of cry for 20 minutes. Not that there's anything wrong with that, because those have helped me plenty of times, but I just don't want to be this person that just like comes on and cries all the time. I want to, if I'm gonna do this, like I want to actually talk a little bit about what's going on with myself, but then make it more about what we can be doing to improve our mental health and feel better. Now keep in mind, I'm not a doctor, I'm not a therapist, I'm not licensed in any way. This is just me speaking from personal freaking experience, and I hope that some of these things, while they may be fairly obvious, I do hope that maybe it kind of puts a little light bulb above your brain and is like, you know, I probably should get back into this, or I should reach out to this, or I just hope that while they may be, I just hope that while they may be obvious, they are still helpful. So, as you guys know, your girl struggles with depression, OCD, anxiety, the three things that I have been diagnosed with: major depressive disorder, mental OCD, some physical OCD, and a lot of anxiety. And I have come up with some things that have really helped and transformed the way that I view myself and I view my mental health. But you know, this December was probably the hardest December I have had thus far in terms of coping. As you guys may or may not know, the holidays is when I lost my mom, and this was the first Christmas that I decided to not go home and see my family. I decided to actually stay alone at home, watch movies, hang out with my dogs, play video games, and basically pretend that Christmas didn't exist. And that might sound very depressing to some of you guys, but it was actually probably the best Christmas I've had in a really, really long time, because Christmas doesn't feel like Christmas for me anymore. And I didn't feel the need to put on a front for anyone and pretend that I was okay when I wasn't okay, or be okay and have people wondering, is she okay? It's just, it's so touchy. And I was like, you know, I am in a place right now where I could just stay home and I can just do what I need to do and handle this how I need to handle it. And so I did, and I don't regret it. However, that doesn't mean that just because I stayed home, I just magically felt good. So I did fall into a bit of a depressive funk. However, it was so different from any of the depressive funks that I've had before, because this one really just included a lot of junk food, and not even a lot of junk food though. Basically not eating anything and then having junk food. And I lost like 5 or 6 pounds. Basically, yeah, it was just like 2 to 3 weeks of me not really being the best that I could be. And as you could tell in my last video, my skin was breaking out like crazy, and I have makeup on now, so you can't really see, but my skin is still struggling, and it was just because of a poor diet, lack of hydration, dirty hair, just like kind of spiraling, but not, I know that sounds actually really bad, but let me tell you, your girl has spiraled much darker and much further than this. Like, I lost some weight, but I was still talking to people. I wasn't having any like incredibly dark thoughts. It was just, I don't know, I thought that I was doing the right thing by taking 2 weeks off of work to just cope and feel what I needed to feel, and it was good. And then by the end of it, it was actually just harming me, because I'd gotten way too used to this flow and basically welcomed in all of the traits of depression. So that was a learning lesson, but I'm feeling really good. I'm feeling really back to myself starting actually today. I've been feeling okay the last few days, definitely not how I was at the end of December, but January had a bit of a rocky bump for me as well. And honestly, I think that as I get older, I'll be 26 this year, I don't see it getting any easier. And that sounds kind of you know, sad and dark, but I just mean that each year that goes on, you would think that holidays that you lost someone would get easier and maybe you'd be able to cope a little bit better. But for me, I find that I'm regressing in that sense, because as I get older, I realize all the things that she's missing out on and that I wish that she could be seeing and be a part of, and I don't get to have that. And so I think each year it's just gonna sting a little bit more than the last. But like I said, I do wanna talk about some things that really transform my mental health, because these are the things that I started doing last week to 2 weeks ago, 3 to 4 days into January, things that I started doing to get myself back to where I need to be. And they're things that I've been doing for the past 2 years, in which I think has really shaped me, more so in the last year, really. I feel my mental health has been the strongest it's ever been. So let's talk about that. So the first thing that has been absolutely transformative for my mental health is therapy. Therapy has had its ups and downs in my life, where I've had therapists that I didn't like, but majority of I've been going to a therapist since I was probably 15 years old, but on and off. And I feel that therapy is just like a place where you can go if you find a therapist that is right for you, which there are so many, so there's no reason you can't, where you can just go and say whatever it is that you need to say, where no one can judge you or hurt you or anything. Like, their job is to just help you figure out why maybe you think the way that you do, why certain things trigger you the way that you do, or the way that they do, or just having a safe place with an actual professional trained to be a therapist or trained to be a psychiatrist or a psychologist, or all of the different variations there are, is really, really amazing. And I personally went the route of going to a therapist, like a licensed marriage and family therapist, LFMT. So with LFMTs, they can't prescribe you any medication at all. If they wanted to discuss that, they would have to recommend you to a psychiatrist or a psychologist. They'd have to refer you in that direction. And typically they can work together to figure out a prescription that will work best for you based off the problems that the therapist will tell the psychologist. Anyway, long story short, therapy is amazing. When I really needed it, and that was kind of my sole focus, and the moment I felt like I didn't need it anymore, I would stop going. However, in the past month, I guess it's been like 2 months now, I started going to a therapist, even though I felt like I didn't need it, because I felt like I was finally in a place where I could focus on things that were happening in my life, maybe daddy issues, abandonment issues, commitment issues, all of those things. I could finally sit down and address those rather than focusing on my harm OCD and my extreme depression and all of these things that took over all of the other minor issues that I have. It's been really, really great, and I feel like every day I'm getting better, and every week that I see her, I'm learning something new about myself, or I'm improving in some way. So even if you think you don't need therapy, you probably still should go to therapy, just because, I mean, it's just amazing. Tip number 2. Duke already came back. He's right here, so we'll just show him. Sorry, not tip, but something that has been transformative for me is having pets. Honest to God, I do not know what I would do without my babies. Like, and maybe that's a sign of codependency, but I also think that, I mean, isn't that what emotional support is for? Like, my dogs make me feel like I can't leave them behind. I can't abandon my babies. And then I just look at them and they just love me so unconditionally, or maybe on a condition, and that's because I give them food, but they cuddle me, they love me. They just, when Duke knows I'm crying or when he knows I'm stressed, he'll come and do a more extreme version of this, where he's like shoving himself into my face and just trying to make sure I'm good. Like, dogs, cats, turtles, hamsters, birds, I don't care. Another living form that just loves you and adores you is such a special thing to have. And I think especially when you're dealing with like bereavement and depression from the loss of someone, a pet can feel really nice, especially if it's someone that you felt loved you unconditionally that you lost. You kind of bring in someone else to kind of fill that empty spot in your heart. And I thought that Prince was my only baby, and then I got Duke and I had Herman, and I was like, oh, I can have multiple babies and love them all unconditionally and know that they love me too. And yeah, whenever I'm sad, instead of, going down a tunnel, I just get them and I cuddle up and I take a nap and I wake up and I see them looking at me and I'm like, damn, I've really got it good. I've got the best babies in the world. Everyone thinks they have the best babies in the world, and we all do. So I would recommend, if you're in a place where you can get a pet, I know cats are very low maintenance in comparison to like a dog or a bird or, anything like that. But something that you can actually interact with is really, really amazing. And I think serves as a really loving distraction, but also can be very healing at the same time. Note number 3 that has been transformative is working out and dieting. Well, wait, working out and my diet. So when I say that, I mean getting into the gym and having a healthy, sustainable diet that is easy for me to follow, that makes me feel like I am progressing. I don't know about you guys, but especially when I was living in Antioch and I was dealing with my depression, I would stop going to the gym. My aunt would always say to me, I notice you're not going to the gym, and I feel like you're a lot happier when you're at the gym. Maybe you should just try and go get like 30 minutes in. Even if you just go on a treadmill and walk for 30 minutes, like I notice you feel a lot better. Now, I'm not gonna sit here and say that that is easy to do when you are depressed, because that was the advice that I had given to some of my girls, and I completely went against that in December, and I didn't step foot into a gym for 2 weeks because I was going through it. And I'm not gonna beat myself up for that. I did for like 3 days, and then other people were like, stop doing that to yourself. And my therapist was like, stop doing that to yourself. And I was like, true. But when you are able to break that mental block going on in your head, telling you that you should just stay in bed and that you should just sleep, when you're able to break past that and actually go to the gym, you're a rock star, and you're actually unstoppable in those moments. So guaranteed, when you go to the gym, you're gonna feel better at the end of it. Working out releases serotonin. Serotonin is what makes us feel happy. It makes us feel good, and it's literally backed by science. So obviously the working out is gonna be so great. However, you wanna make sure that while you're working out, while you're burning those calories, while you're having those feel good serotonin chemical things happening in your brain and in your body, that you are also having a healthy diet to only supplement this new lifestyle. So take it easy. I know a lot of the girls in the Built Fierce group are beating up on themselves because they feel like they are getting the working out down, but their diet is still not right. They're like, you know, I had 3 bags of Takis and I had some chocolate bars, and I just feel like I'm screwing this up. And it's like, yeah, but were you going to the gym 5 days a week last month? And they usually say no. And I'm like, okay, so take it day by day. This doesn't mean that you need to transform your entire lifestyle overnight. That is so overwhelming, and especially when you are struggling with mental health issues and things that are bothering you and weighing on you. Last thing you want is to take on a massive project like that. So take it easy, take it day by day, take it step by step, but I guarantee it will have positive effects on your mental health. There's no way that it won't. Number 4 is medicine. And I'm gonna say this and I know this could actually also be the most problematic thing that I'll say, but whether it is medicine for depression or anxiety, actual prescribed medication by a doctor, like Zoloft, like Prozac, like all of the different anxiety, depression medications there are, that's one category. And then there's also the herb medication category, smoking weed, CBD, things like that have helped me. Okay, so again, speaking from my own experience, I don't know that CBD actually helps your mental health, but I do know that it soothes the out of me. So as you guys know, I do take Zoloft, and I take it every single day, and I have been taking it every single day for the last 3 years or something like that. That in and of itself has saved me, genuinely has saved me. And I know that people are gonna be like, but go try yin meditation for like 3 hours twice a week, and I swear your chakras are gonna be realigned. Girl or guy, I've done it. and I loved it, and it did help me, but for the way that my mind was going and the thoughts that I was having, it was not saving me there. I just actually straight up had a chemical imbalance in my brain that I felt needed medication to alleviate a lot of the really scary symptoms that I was having. So that's Western medication. I don't know what weed is weed. I mean, like, it's legal out here, and you can go down the street and find 17 different weed shops just within a 2-mile vicinity of you. So weed is great. I smoke pretty much every single night. I don't like smoking with people. It's not a social thing. I do this by myself. And it's been really great in terms of my self-esteem, in terms of me learning to love my alone time. This one's more personal, but in a way it makes me feel closer to my mom for many different reasons, but it does. It really does. So yeah, medicine. It's great. I love it. It's helped me. I know some people have had negative experiences with both weed and, you know, medicine for mental health, but I can't, this is my experience, and that's what I have to say about that. Last and final thing that I will say is focusing on a project has actually saved me so many times from getting lost and trapped in my own brain. The reason that I kind of spiraled in December, I feel part of the reason is that a lot of projects that I had been focused on and working on came to an end in December. And I don't mean like came to an end like Built Fierce had launched, so there was no more working on that project anymore, getting content, getting things ready, getting things planned, planning the promotion, making the video content for it. That came to an end. Some of my extreme goals I had shifted around that time. Anyway, it doesn't really matter. I just had a lot of projects end that I felt were kind of keeping me afloat, and I feel best when I'm busy and when I'm working, and when I'm not, it gives me the chance to spiral and go into like a little frenzy. So in January, I reset some of my goals to kind of keep me more ambitious and keep me working hard. So right now, give you guys an idea of what my goals are for this month, and I will end up hitting these goals because I always do. Maybe give or take like 1 or 2 things. But my goal for this month is to hit 10 videos on this channel, 8 videos on my ASMR channel, 8 videos on my gaming channel, 50 hours, 45 or 50 hours, I don't remember, on my Twitch channel, and to continue to maintain X amount of members on the Built Fierce page, basically to always keep it over 1,000, which we have been able to do. And I have a specific number that I'm thinking of, but I don't want to say it because I just want to keep some things a little private. But yeah, just to continue to have a flourishing business, I guess I would say, with Built Fierce, and then continue working on my top secret project that I have. And those will continue to evolve and change. I have certain view goals that I plan to hit with my ASMR channel, subscriber goals, things like that that I set to just keep me making sure that I feel I'm putting out the best content that I can that remains true to me. So having some sort of project for yourself to focus on that drives you and inspires you and doesn't scare you is so important, because when we are focused and we are driven, we can still spiral, but it's so much harder to do that when you're excited about something and the potential and the possibility of something growing and being better than anything you would have ever expected. Yeah, I guess that is everything for my 5 things that have really transformed my mental health. It was very easy actually for me to think of these things because they just kind of came to me where I was like, I know this has helped me, this has helped me, this has shaped me, this has molded me. So yeah, that's it guys. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope that you guys are feeling better and fresher after watching this. And do me a favor, if you are here at the very end of this probably 15-20 minute long video, let me know some things that have really helped transform your mental health, and let me know if you plan to implement any of my tips, and I'll be responding to you guys in the comment section. As always, I love you guys so much. I'm so grateful for you guys every single day. Let's crush this new decade, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Besitos. Bye.